Good morning, everyone. I'm San Francisco Mayor London Breed, and I am so grateful to be here with so many of the leaders of the City and County of San Francisco, from the Board of Supervisors to our state senator, to members of UESF, as well as members of our school board. And we are so grateful to welcome the State Superintendent of Public Schools, Tony Thurmond. Now, I know that the mayor and the city and county of San Francisco does not necessarily have direct control of the school district, but we are here to be partners of the school district. We are here to work to ensure that our children's education is one that is provided without the obstruction and challenges that the school district has faced for far too long. I am grateful to so many of the folks who are here who have stood with the school district, many of our educators during this challenging time, many of our parents who have been afraid and frustrated, and that fear and frustration stops now and it stops today. I am excited. And I am hopeful. Because this is not unfamiliar territory to us. And I want to give you all just a little bit of hope, because we have been there before. We all remember when we thought Laguna Honda Hospital would be lost to our city. So many of our vulnerable patients were afraid, and their families. So much of our workforce was concerned about what would happen if Laguna Honda Hospital closed its doors. And we came together and we put together what is in essence a stabilization team of extraordinary leaders from the city and county of San Francisco to help lead that effort. And it was a very challenging almost 2 years to get to where we are, where we were able to save that institution for some of our most vulnerable residents in the city and county of San Francisco. This is exactly what we are doing here today with the school district. We want to make sure that the staff who are dedicated to doing the work have the leadership and the support they need. We want to make sure our principals and our educators have clear guidance and understanding of what it means to manage the various schools throughout the district. We want the parents to have that same understanding too. And when we initially put together our stabilization team, we did so with the goal in mind of helping to do 3 things. Helping to provide the support necessary to ensure that special education has the capacity that it needs and the certification that those teachers needed. We wanted to make sure that we balance a budget to ensure that we avoid a state takeover. And we also needed to have the very hard conversations of school mergers necessary in order to ensure success long term. The challenge, of course, that we've had is a lack of clear communication. These decisions will be hard. There will be hard conversations in the future. But now, what I am most excited about is we have a clear leader to help get us to a place where we can come together and be provided with accurate information that will help us produce the kinds of results needed to save the school district and to make sure, ultimately, that our school system in San Francisco does not fail. Dr. Maria Sue is not somebody that I give up lightly. She has led the Department of Children, Youth, and Families over a few mayors' administration. And the reason why she has survived is because she is a great leader. She has an incredible team. She understands her mission. And every dollar spent and every program provided is to provide support to the children of San Francisco and to our transitional age youth. 42,000 to be exact, in programs all throughout San Francisco that are complementary to what the school district does. And she has worked hand in hand with the school district over the years to make sure that our various beacon programs and a number of support we provide makes a difference in the lives of young people in San Francisco. But also during our very challenging time, during the pandemic when our schools were not open, Maria Sue, along with Phil Ginsburg, worked together to set up neighborhood hubs because not all of our kids have places to go or places to learn within their homes. And they needed a place to go when their family members or parents were at work, and a number of other challenges that we were faced with. They set up these learning homes without a playbook. They set up these learning hubs from scratch and worked with the community to deliver opportunities for our students. When you need someone to get the job done, you call people like Maria Sue. And in every single instance, she has delivered time and time again. And she will deliver on helping through this very challenging transition. I have confidence and faith in her leadership, and I know working with the school board, she will do an amazing job to help provide clarity and stability to the people of San Francisco with regards to the district. I want to thank the president of the school board, Matt Alexander. During this tough time, we have been focused and determined on making sure that this school district succeeds. And especially during election year, it is really hard to have to step out and to do something like this in light of all the controversy. And from day one, he has chosen to work with my office, my administration, and the stabilization team that we put together. And in every instance, it has been about the students. It has been about the educators. It has been about trying to provide clarity of communication, and I appreciate being able to work with him to help us guide this ship during this very, very difficult time. And I also would like to thank those city workers from the controller's office, from the Human Resource Agency, from so many different aspects, our city attorney's office, because what these folks are doing, they're taking on extra responsibility, not because of any reason other than the fact that they want our school system to succeed. We have pulled together some of the best and the brightest in the city and county of San Francisco, and they have been combing through trying to make sure that our payroll system here at the district is done appropriately. The recertification of so many of our educators who want to be out there helping to ensure that our teachers learn. They are doing the heavy lifting and the work so that when we are making decisions, we're making them from accurate information. We're making them from facts. And we're using that in order to work on our communication strategy so that we are delivering the truth to people. Because as I said, just like Laguna Honda, it was hard. And the fact is, what I told folks time and time again, even though people were afraid, we will get through this. We will get through this because we have no choice. That's right. We have no choice but to make sure that this public school system, which produced me, the mayor of the city and county of San Francisco, this public school system, which is creating our future educators, city employees, scientists, and technological folks that we need to help build this city and save this country and save this planet. This school district is doing the heavy lifting. And so we have to do our part from an administrative perspective to ensure that we avoid state takeover and demonstrate to the state of California that we know what we're doing. It's going to be a tough time, but we will get through this because we have no choice. And speaking of the state, I am grateful to my dear friend Tony Thurmond, who is the state superintendent of public schools. Every step of the way, it has not been an adversarial relationship. He wants us to be accountable, but he wants us to be successful. He has offered his office's support and help in every step of the way. He wants us to meet our goals to balance this budget. He wants to provide us with every resource possible to be successful. And the reason why he is here today to make it clear directly how he feels about San Francisco Unified School District and what he will continue to do to lend his support and his leadership to ensuring its success and that it remains in the control locally here in the city and county of San Francisco. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome State Superintendent Tony Thurmond.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. Nehoma. I think the mayor has made it clear that she is an education mayor and that our priority must always be putting the students and families of this district first. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your incredible leadership. Thank you. You know, the premise from which I start is this. San Francisco can be and will be the premier district in this state. There is no question that this district, like most, is working through many challenges. San Francisco is not the only district in the state that is experiencing declining enrollment. Declining enrollment is a phenomenon that almost every district in the country is experiencing. But San Francisco, because of its people, its leadership, and vision, will be the premier district in this state because there are great educators, great teachers and classified staff, great administrators, great families, and at the end of the day, what we're talking about are great students. Yes. And this district will be the premier district in this state. I want to thank you, Madam Mayor, again for your leadership, Director Sue, President Alexander, the members of the board, and I want to thank Matt Wayne in his absence for his efforts. We're moving in another direction here. And let me be clear, there will not be a state takeover in San Francisco. Let me be clear about that. The role of the California Department of Education is to assist with financial decisions. And our staff has been working with the staff of the district to work through some of the financial challenges and to build better systems. But the role of the Department of Education is never to lead the district. We are here in partnership and in guidance. Yes, it is true that when districts reach a level of financial challenge, that there can be a way to have oversight of decision-making, including the ability to rescind a decision that is made if there are not if there is not compliance with making good financial decisions. But it is not the role of the State Department of Education to take over what happens here. It is our role to be a partner. And in Maria Sue, you will have an incredible leadership. I've had the honor to work closely with the mayor, to work with Maria Sue, who's been a great director at the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. But beyond that, she's someone that I've come to know. She is a nationwide leader. She and I are in a fellowship through the Annie E. Casey Foundation that focus on children and families. This is work that she takes to heart, and I know that she will deliver great leadership for this district. And we're excited to work with her and with the members of the board and with our teachers, our classified staff, our administrators, our families, and our students. As the mayor pointed out, there are difficult decisions to be made ahead, and we have to make those with transparency. There has to be communication for the families, but we have to always keep at the center what is best for the academic achievement of our students and meeting their mental health needs and preparing them for a great future. And there's no better city to do that than the city and county of San Francisco. And so let us stand together and shoulder the load together and make the difficult decisions together, but also continue to talk about rigor. There should be rigor in academics and support for every student who needs it, because every one of the students here can achieve and be successful, and we're here to see to it that that is what happens for the students in this school district. The state will also be continuing to provide resources. We've provided millions in grants that can support additional tutoring for students who need it, professional development for our educators, resources for mental health in the form of our community schools. San Francisco will be a shining example for the state and what we do for 6 million students. Let us begin to work together to support all of the students in San Francisco Unified School District. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Superintendent. And now please welcome the board president of the San Francisco Unified School District, Matt Alexander.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning. I want to start by speaking briefly to the SFUSD students, families, and frontline educators who've borne the brunt of the chaos we've seen over the past few months, from the special education hiring delays to the school closure process that did not follow the board's guidance around meaningful community engagement. I am sorry for what you've been through. It is not acceptable. And that's why my colleagues and I on the board took swift and decisive action to address those issues. And I want to thank my board colleagues who are behind me, many of whom are behind me, for doing that. So the Board of Education, I think, deserves credit for taking action when action was required. And we could not have done it without the ongoing partnership of Mayor London Breed. And I am so grateful to the mayor for your commitment to our public school kids, for your integrity around that, and your willingness to give us whatever we've asked for, frankly. First, the stabilization team, and now being willing to give up one of your best employees, as you noted, to be able to come and run the school district. That is, it's just a testament, I think, to the mayor's, like I said, commitment to public schools and leadership. And I've just been really grateful for that. We could not have done it without her. Thank you, Mayor Breed. Thank you so much. And there are so many others who have offered their assistance. State Superintendent Thurman, thank you so much for being here. And yes, please, let's give it up for our amazing State Superintendent. But as he noted, they have been at the table. They have been, the CDE has been working in partnership with our district for months. And what we need to do is to continue to accept that partnership, as he said, not to make sure there's nothing close to a takeover, but to ensure that we actually use the resources they're providing to stabilize our finances and to get SFUSD on the stable footing it needs to be on. The Board of Supervisors, there's several supervisors here today. Really appreciate their presence. Every step of the way, they've been there to support us. They've sponsored the Student Success Fund that's bringing in $35 million to our schools this year. The lesson study pilot they passed in recent years. And over again, historically, there have been other examples of how the board has stepped up and said, our schools need resources, here we are. Let's do it. So they're here to support us. So thank you again, supervisors. Yes. Our SFUSD unions, I see Cassandra Curiel, the leader of UESF. Our teachers union is here. Anna Clafter, the principals union leader. I see folks from SEIU. At every step of the way, the unions have been constructive partners, advocating for the needs of our frontline workers, and we share an interest in having the most highly qualified staff, recruiting and retaining those staff, and they've been constructive partners at every step of the way. We've had philanthropists, community organizers, parent groups. Everybody in this city wants our public schools to succeed. And what has been so frustrating to me recently, and what is about to change in a big way, is that despite all these offers to help, sometimes there's been a sort of cultural resistance within our central office to accept any help. There's this sense that kind of we got this, and folks should keep their distance. Well, as board president, let me be clear. We need your help, and we welcome it. These fiscal and operational problems that SFUSD is facing are not new. Before I was on the board, I was a teacher and principal in the district. I started teaching at Balboa High School in 1996 as a high school social studies teacher. And I remember when I submitted my college transcripts to HR, I think they lost them 3 times. So these problems are actually not new. And there have been valiant attempts over the years to fix our fiscal problems, our operational problems, but for the most part, they've been allowed to fester. And SFUSD has some of the most talented educators anywhere. One of them I want to note that's here today as our leader of our educational side of our district is Carling Aguilera Fort. He was a teacher, a special education teacher, and then principal in our district. He's been committed his entire career to SFUSD, except he left for a little bit to be a superintendent somewhere else, but we got him back. He's going to be, the proposal that we're bringing to the board tonight is to approve Dr. Maria Sue as superintendent and Carling as deputy, so they're going to be a team to lead the district. So educators like Carling cannot do their jobs and produce better outcomes for kids if we don't have an effective management structure, if we don't have an effective central office, if we don't have a team making sure that our central office supports the schools and that our precious resources are being used are being stewarded to ensure the best for our kids in our classrooms every day. And that's what's been missing in SFUSD. It's not the educators, it's the systems that support them. And that is why I am so excited that Maria Sue is going to be considered for the next position of SFUSD superintendent. She is the one who can who can help us once and for all fix those systems. And the mayor already spoke about Maria's skill set, and so did Superintendent Thurman, so I won't add to the details. I'll use a metaphor. You know, our beloved San Francisco Giants finished the season in second to last place, 18 games out, and what did they do? They hired Buster Posey to run the team. That's what we're doing with Maria Sue. We're hiring Buster Posey to run the team. So this is our moment, San Francisco. Once and for all, we're going to take on our fiscal and operational challenges. We're going to balance our budget. We're going to overhaul our broken student assignment system. We're going to pass the school bond and fix our facilities. We're going to continue the work we started to ensure that academic excellence is not just found in a classroom here and a school there, but is the standard throughout San Francisco public schools. Together, with all of your help, with the mayor's help, with the state's help, with all of your help, we're going to rebuild SFUSD and create the public schools our students deserve. Thank you. And now I have the honor of presenting Dr. Maria Sue. Buster, a.k.a. Buster.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, State Superintendent Tony Thurman. Thank you, Senator Scott Wiener, Board of Education Commissioners, Board of Supervisors, labor partners, and our beloved SFUSD community. Thank you so much for being here today. Honestly, if we can get all of these folks here for our children, then we have nothing to lose. We will win, and we will get this job done. I stand before you today humbled and honored to be considered for this amazing opportunity to lead our school district. The outpour of support I've received over the past few days have been short of overwhelming and heartwarming. The messages I've received from every corner of this city and beyond have shared this theme of renewed sense of hope for our schools. It is a similar hope that has guided my heart for the past 18 years as I work every single day to make San Francisco a great place to grow up and for families to thrive. Our public school is the bedrock of our city. It is where dreams are nurtured, futures are shaped, communities come together. As a fellow San Franciscan, former SFUSD parent, and a lifelong public servant who have dedicated my years to improve the outcomes for children, youth, and families, I understand the profound responsibilities of this role, and I am ready. I know that the district faces tremendous challenges, And it's going to be a bumpy road. We're going to have to make some really tough decisions ahead of us. But I think we got it on camera that our state superintendent just said that he's not interested in taking over the district. What he wants to do is provide us support and guidance to make sure that our children and families get everything they need to succeed in our city.
Yes.
And that means we get to fulfill the promise that we made to our children and families. We get to create the world-class education that every single student in this city deserves, regardless of where they came from and where they live.
That's right.
My immediate priorities are clear. Present a balanced budget to the state superintendent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
But I need to rebuild relationships with our families, with our teachers, with our educators, with our staff. We need to bring back trust and optimism to our schools. And I also gotta make sure that our operational systems are working together. These challenges are complex. I wish there was a shortcut to it, but there are not. But I am confident that with the support of everyone behind me, we will get this done. We together can chart a future where our children will succeed and thrive. I have led the Department of Children, Youth, and Their Families for the past 15 years. I have taken this department through many, many challenges. A global pandemic, recessions, massive challenges and issues within our city. But through all of those moments, I have always kept children and families at the heart of every single decision I have made. While I am not an educator by training, I am a leader with a proven track record of building strong teams across systems, overcoming obstacles, and navigating through crisis. I promise you and everyone here, I will bring that same level of dedication, compassion, and result-driven outcomes to the district.
Yes.
I am looking forward to leading our amazing, talented district leaders and staff to deliver for our children. Our schools cannot fail. Our students, families, staff, and community are counting on us. I need you to join me to support our students so that we can build a brighter future for all San Francisco's children. Thank you. I'm going to introduce State Senator Scott Wiener.
Thank you, Maria. So it's been a tough few years for San Francisco Unified, especially over the last 4 years. But some of the problems that we're seeing now have been building for years. And it's been hard on students, it's been hard on parents, it's been hard on educators. It's been hard on a lot of people. And as someone who is a product of public schools, and my mom was a high school, public school biology teacher, this is personal for me and for so many people in San Francisco, whether or not they have kids in the district. And I am now so optimistic about this district's future because for the first time that I can remember in my many years of involvement in this city, for the first time I can remember, we are all truly rowing in the same direction. And when we are rowing in the same direction, when we all cross political divides in this city and say, you know what, this can't be about politics. This is about our kids. This is about public education. When we do that, there's nothing that can stop us. And I am optimistic about the district's future. And I will also say that I have the honor of serving as the chair of the Senate Budget Committee. I came in just in time for a $50 billion deficit. But as daunting as that is, one of the things that we all agreed to immediately was that we're not cutting public schools. Yeah. We're just not doing it. And so we balanced the budget without cutting a penny from public schools. And so we will be a partner to the school district. I will be a partner. And I want to also just say, I have worked with Maria Sue for a long time. When I was on the Board of Supervisors and she was, as now, running DCYF, we worked incredibly closely for years. And I cannot think of a more inspired choice to lead San Francisco Unified than Maria Sue. She is someone who knows how to administer a complicated organization, how to balance a budget and make sure that it stays balanced. And she also knows how to deeply engage with families. And one of the, we know that there are going to have to be changes over time with our schools. We know there's going to have to be changes, and it's going to be painful, and the choices are going to be hard. But when you have leadership that engages deeply, and you can achieve that kind of broad understanding of what's happening and buy-in, that's when you can do it in a truly powerful way. And so I want to thank the school board, I want to thank the mayor, because this is a really inspired choice. And with that, I want to bring up a public school parent, someone who lives actually really close to where I live, in amazing District 8, Dan Finkelsurma.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dan Finkelsurma, and I'm a parent of twin first graders at Harvey Milk Civil Rights Academy. You may have heard that Harvey Milk was one of the schools targeted for closure, and we were not exactly quiet about it. So I appreciate this opportunity to share my personal perspective. So my family's experience at Harvey Milk has given us enormous confidence in public education. Our children are thriving, they absolutely love learning, and they love going to school. Our twins started kindergarten not knowing how to read, and less than a year later, one of them read the first 2 Wild Robot books. They're about 300 pages each. Your mileage may vary, but shout out to Ms. Vashti, one of the most talented teachers I've encountered anywhere. I cannot say that we've had the same experience with the district, culminating in the chaos of the last 2 weeks. The parents and the caregivers of San Francisco deserve enormous credit for the change that's happening today. It was incredible to witness the way that our communities all came together. And what's happening now is exactly what we've hoped for at home. It's exactly what this city needs. It's frankly refreshing to see the alignment among San Francisco leadership on doing what's right for our kids. So I feel hopeful. Let's take a deep breath, let's reset, and let's be transparent and honest about the challenges and the trade-offs we face. Parents are, in fact, grown-ups, and we want to be treated that way. So no more plugging some numbers into a formula and then emailing the results out and pretending to want feedback while knowing nothing about our schools on the ground. I look forward to Dr. Sue rebuilding trust with public school families by engaging transparently and honestly, like I said, and more importantly, listening to and prioritizing what matters to us. I'm very pleased to be getting a new superintendent who clearly knows how to run a functional organization and who brings with her a long-standing commitment to serving the children and the families of this city. I want to thank the mayor for her decisive leadership. I want to thank everybody up here for putting the children of San Francisco first. This is what leadership looks like. This is the kind of leadership that San Francisco, and frankly every city, needs to thrive. Cities can and should be the best place to raise a family. So let's get to work and give our kids the schools that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan, and thank you to all of our speakers and all of the folks who are joining us here today. As you can see from many of the comments, there is hope. There is hope, and Harvey Milk once said, you gotta give them hope. And today, we're giving the people of San Francisco, whether it's the parents, the kids, the educators, folks who work for the school district, and even people who may not have kids or involvement in the school district, they too have been concerned, and we are giving the city hope about the future of this district and what we plan to do to make sure that the infrastructure is in place. So no matter who the superintendent or the school board is, it needs to be able to function no matter what. And that is what we are providing here today, is a roadmap to get there. What I ask of all of you is to be understanding and to be patient and to work with us through this very difficult process, because it will not be easy, but rest assured, with the extraordinary leadership of Dr. Maria Sue, I am confident that we can get there. Thank you all so much for coming. So we're taking just a few questions.
Can somebody address the realities of, I know no one likes school closures and that kind of set everybody on fire, but what is the realities of the necessity of that going forward?
Well, that is something that is probably going to need to happen. And ultimately, there has to be clarity as to what that means and how much are we talking. I mean, we got to get the facts before we can begin the conversation. And it may look more like a school merger than a school closure. So I think that the district needs time to get to the heart of the issues around its finances, to get a better understanding. I mean, we got to look at geographic equity. We got to think about, you know, when you close a school in a district, where's the next closest thing? We got kids who walk to these schools, and we want to make sure they have these kinds of experiences. And I think a score doesn't take into consideration all the impacts in community. And I think that before we begin the conversation, we got to know what our criterias are. We got to know what our issues are. And there are hard decisions. As we said, none of us have shied away from the fact that there will be hard decisions that need to be made, but we need to make them from a place of fact. We need to at least begin with that. And I think, you know, we are planning to make sure that we have that before we even begin that discussion.
So for Maria Sue, would this be a multi-year, what's your vision for how we're going to proceed with these difficult times? I think you talked about the importance of communicating with people. What is that going to look like for families and people in San Francisco? What can we expect? More emails or press conferences? What is that going to look like?
As I shared, so the question is, what is going to look like moving forward under my leadership? I have 3 priorities. I'm going to present and share a balanced budget that satisfies the state's requirements. That is first and foremost. what we will do on day one. In terms of engagement with families, clearly there are many people here that can provide me with insights on how to better communicate with families the most efficient way. But honestly, what it's going to start with is me going out to schools, having conversations, having coffee with families, having snacks with young people, doing all the things that we as a parent do when we want to talk and engage with our young people. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be out in the schools, out in the community, having conversations with our teachers to understand what are their needs. What can we at central office do better? What we at central office are doing really well. How do we do more of that? How do we support the parent who has to take multiple transits to get to the school? How do we support families who need additional resources to help their child read and do math or have some social emotional difficulties? Those are all conversations that I plan to have and will have moving forward.
Dr. Sue, I know it's still early, you haven't even been sworn in officially as superintendent, but just kind of assessing the district overall, if there's any immediate things that come to mind in terms of cuts that you might be able to make to balance the budget?
I'm going to have to work very closely with our amazing budget leaders here to figure out what the budget looks like. I am committed to spending a lot of time to comb through the budget and identify where we can have greater efficiencies. I will say that the California Department of Education's fiscal advisor has been amazingly helpful. They have taught us to tighten our belt and live within our means. And by doing that, we are showing progress in moving towards a balanced budget.
Then I have a question for Mayor Breed. Mayor, as you're hitting the campaign trail, it's the final days till the election. Is this something that you're hearing about from families? And then wanted to get your reaction to the latest polling out today as well.
Well, I will specifically say that when I am out on the streets of San Francisco, whether people have kids in the school district or not, everyone's concerned about the schools. And it's heartbreaking to hear people say, I may have to leave San Francisco if the schools don't get it together, or I may have to pull my kids out of these schools, or I have preschoolers who won't be able to go to the school in their neighborhood. So this is, probably above everything else that anyone's talking about right now, everyone is concerned about this. And it is so important that we restore faith in our school district, and that's important to me. At the end of the day, the people of San Francisco will make their decision about any elected position, no matter what a poll says. Ultimately, I have made it clear that I will always respect any decision that the people of San Francisco make during an election, and all the way up until the end of my time as mayor, I will spend every single day prioritizing and putting this city first and inserting myself into situations in order to ensure the success of our city as a whole, just like I've done here for the school district. Thank you.